Welcome to Quality Improvement 101, Efficiency at Work and at Home. I am going to be your facilitator for this training, and my name is Magali Angeloni. I have worked in public health for many years, and I now work at New England Institute of Technology, where I teach and direct the Masters of Public Health online program. And one of the things that we normally do is use the quality improvement because we want to make sure that we constantly improve the things that we do. So I am happy that you are here and we are going to get started. So first of all, let's see what are the learning objectives. Well, we want to make sure that by the end of the training, you are going to be able to describe the Plan, Do, Study, Act, or PDSA cycle of quality improvement. You can explain when a change is an improvement, and you're going to be able to name at least 3 tools that we use in the use of quality improvement. So first of all, let's define it. So Henry Ford, which is the person who started this many, many years ago in manufacturing, he said, quality means doing it right when no one is looking. That is the definition. But then there is the Japanese author that also said, well, improvement usually means doing something we have never done before. Remember that many times when we are talking about a process and we say, so why are we doing this? And the answer is because that's what we have always done. And that is not a good enough answer. So, and then the public health definition of quality improvement says that it is actually the ongoing effort to achieve measurable improvements. And that is the key word, measurable improvements. If you change something and you are not sure if it was good or if it's better or worse, then that is not really quality improvement because you don't know. In order for it to be an improvement, it has to be measurable. So that is one of the differences between trying to change a process that you will normally do and using actually quality improvement is because there is going to be a measure that is going to confirm whether or not it was better or the same or no change. So if you have heard about quality improvement, there are different methods that are used in manufacturing and depending on the industry in which you work. The Kaizen is the Japanese word that means do something better, and it has its own set of rules. There's also the Lean, which is based on the ability to eliminate waste, and we will go through that a little later on. There is also the Six Sigma, which uses the DMAIC, Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, Control for the current products, and also the MADV for new products. We are not going to use that. And then we have the Plan, Do, Study, Act. I think that each one of the methods has its own merit. But here we are going to use a little bit of the PDSA and the Lean. So I think that, having a mix of the methodologies is the best way, depending on the situation that you have. But I also think that the easiest is to use the PDSA and also the Lean. Let's just take a look at, when do you use this quality improvement? So actually the QI, you can use it in a number of situations. If you look at the arrow, we can do it at the individual level. So I can think about how do I get better at making lunches for every day and take it to work? Something that is individual to me that is going to help me. But I can also do like at the micro level, which would be a little QI. How do I get to respond to all emails by the end of the day or by the end of the week, right? So that is like a micro, that's like a little QI, or how is the team going to handle all of the complaints or all of the suggestions that are received in the office every week or every month, right? That's a small QI. But then you also have like the meso QI, which is like the midterm. So it's not too little, but it's not too large yet. And then we have the big QI, which is at the macro level. So these are projects that are organization-wide projects that can be done. So of course, we will start with the individual QI so that you can get a good handle of the tools and in the process so that you can use them. You can apply the same idea when you are handling a different project with more people. So here we have, this is basically the description of the steps for the plan. Then you do, then you study, and then you act. Let's not get confusing. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed just by looking at all of these many boxes. Let me start by saying that the plan is the most important part and also the longest part. So we are going to go box by box for the plan portion of the PDSA, and the other portions are going to be very much self-explanatory. So we are going to start with the plan, and you're going to notice that we're going to have like the blocks are going to become blue when we are talking about them. So the first thing that you do is you identify an opportunity for improvement. Because this is an opportunity for your own individual benefit, then we are going to have, we have here like 3 options. So we say, well, you know, we can do like what, you know, so we could either look at, I want to exercise more, or I want to bring lunch to work every day of the week, or I want to make the groceries list, because when I get to the supermarket, I know that if I don't have the list, then I'm going to end up buying too much or not the right things. So for the sake of the exercise, we are going to actually look at the exercise. I want to exercise more. So we have already one opportunity that we are going to look at to improve it. So the first thing that we do is we develop an aim statement. Basically, that is like, what is your aim? What do I want to do? I know that it is a problem, but I need to be able to like articulate it. And there is some pieces, and this is a template that you can actually download right from here, from this platform. So it has all of these components. So by, and we have to put the date. So I'm going to say by November 30th, 2021, or whatever the date that you think that you can accomplish this. You can say it in 2 months and in 3 months, whatever the case may be. So then but you need to put like a date by when you're going to do it. So by that date, this is the who. In this case, it's just me. So by when Magali will increase or decrease or change or start or something, but there has to be some there, right? And what am I going to do? I'm going to increase the number of days I exercise per week. So I already know that I only exercise 3 days a week at the most, but I really would like to exercise 5, right? So that is my goal. So that's what I want to do. So then in order for you to do this, you need to have like some sort of baseline. So you need to know that I bring lunch to work only like 2 days a week, and I would like to get it at least to 4. And then 1 day I can buy lunch at work. Okay, so you're gonna need some number. So this template is going to help you to do your aim. So at the end of the day, my aim statement for this particular example is by November 30th, Magali will increase the number of days she exercises a week from 3, which is the current state, the current number, to 5 days per week. Okay, so this is the aim statement. So that is kind of what you are going to end up. At this moment, you can download the template, and then you can pause, and then you can work your own aim statement so that you can try to work on the project along with me. Okay. Now that you have taken the time to download the template and then play around with it, and you may have some fake data or some fake numbers just to continue with the exercise. So after you did the aim statement, the next step is to collect data on the current process. If you are working in something that is individual for you, like, you know, I want to exercise more, or I want to be able to do the laundry more often or something like that, then, you know, you already have an idea. But if you don't, normally, if you are doing a project at work, then you're going to need to collect some data because you may not have it at the tip of your fingers. And one good way for you to do that is like doing a flow chart. Why? Because once you draw all of the steps of the process, you are going to find something. And I actually found this very good example of the procrastination flow chart. We are not going to go over every box in this flow chart, but I think that, you know, the visual here, it's telling us that this is a too complicated of a process. There has to be something that could be streamlined, and there's probably too many options here. There is a lots of yes and no's and then arrows and everything. So, this flowchart is going to be helpful, number one, because it is a visual of the process you are dealing with. And number two, it's going to give you opportunities to figure out, well, why are we doing this twice? Are we sending this to sign by the manager and the president and the CFO? Well, maybe there's only one signature needed. So that is how we start, describing the current process. We have to look at this, the current process, right? And there's different kind of flow charts, and I'm going to briefly say that. So there is a flow chart that's called the swim lane. It is like like in a pool, it has the lanes where you swim, like you go back and forth. It's easier to describe the process if you use the swim lane, because if you look at this one, the deployment flow chart, you have the blue in one side, you have the shipping with another color, the accounting with another color. So in this particular case, it's easy for us to know who does the order, who does the shipping, who does the accounting, and what are the steps. So that is the very good use of the swim lane. Same thing at the bottom in this other chart in green. We have the receiver is doing this task, Joe Welder is doing the others, and so on. So once you describe the current process, it's easier to figure out what is happening and where are the opportunities for improvement. So when you have your flow chart, and you don't have to do it this nice and neat and visual or anything like that, you can just do it in paper and you can put sticky notes. That's okay. The idea is to have everything ready for you to visualize it all at once. And then once you do it, then you can find the opportunities for improvement. Maybe you find that in this part, there is a step that is not needed. And that is what we want. So we want to be able to look it over. If you're working with a team, then look it over with a team, and then everybody can say, oh yeah, we don't even do that. There are some discoveries that you are going to do when you have the flow chart, because some people may say, by the way, that's what you think, but the other day I already talked to so-and-so and we decided that we were going to eliminate that step, that we were going to do this other instead. So this is also a good opportunity to review protocols and to review processes. And this is one of the tools that we use when we talk about leaning it. So if we need to identify the waste, right? And as you can see here, we say wasteful, and this is what the things that you may observe when you are trying to lean a process. So there may be the process stops and there is too long that is going to wait for the next step. There's approvals, that there's too many approvals that you probably don't need. There is the silos, between, between people and organizations, there is these handoffs, and then, there's probably no need for that. Transportation, the paper goes from here to there, to there, to there. And again, it takes too long to transport or to circulate the paper. The errors and not prioritization and so on. So you are going to have access to all of my slides for sure. And and when you identify some of these problems, then you are going to lean it. You're going to take a look at that step, and you're going to see if you can eliminate it or you can make it faster. You can include fewer people in the process. That is what we call, that is what the lean tools are helping us to do. So finally, we come up with okay, so now we identify the current process, and then we collect some data. So when you look at the flow chart, you are going to discover some things, right? So you need to figure out how many complaints we have received from our customers this month or this year, whatever the time frame it is that you are looking at. And when you are doing something individually, as I said, you can easily, come up with an average or a number. But when you are doing it for work, then you have to get some kind of data. And sometimes you may not be collecting the right data, and that's okay. The most important thing is that you are studying the process, and this is a good thing. So ideas when you don't have the data already collected. If you are in public health, then you are hopefully have an epidemiologist or somebody who has the data, and then you can ask that person, well, tell me, what do we have? Let's start with something that you already have. It might be a routine report that is already produced, that is giving you some of that data, so then you can use it. So start with something that already exists. But if it doesn't, then you may have to just create that. You may have to collect it. You may have to start counting something. So you may have to do a chart review. You may say, okay, so then for the clinic patients, we want to know how many have received, have been seen in a day or like in a week or something, and then you conduct a chart review, and then you just track that, and then you will start from something. Or you do a time study. Then, a time study is like a tracking that you do it like a one-time thing. Everybody is going to track how many complaints you process during this week. And then we are going to have like a small sample of that. And at least that is like some information that you can use for your project. But you are going to estimate, and you're going to get a sample, count that, and then use it. Or if you don't have any of the above, then you will have to start tracking that. But you need to have some data. That is very, very important. So you have to be able to say, we are going to increase the number of processed payments, process orders from 250 to 400 or something, right? So you need to have the number. You definitely need to have the number. And then, you can move to the next step. Now you have to identify the causes. Once you know that you are only reviewing 200 of the complaints that you received, and there is, 700 that you get every month, this is an exaggeration. Then you really need to get to like, what is happening here? You need to find that. One of the most important parts of the quality improvement is to really get to the bottom of the problem, is to get to the root cause. That's what we call it, to identify the root causes. And in order for us to do that, we use this tool that's called the 5 whys. We call it the 5 whys because we are going to start asking ourselves, so why can I, or why don't we do this? Right? And then you continue to ask the why until you get to the final answer. And you don't have to do it 5 times. You may have to do it 3 times. You may have to do it 10 times. But we call it just the 5 whys. So in the case of my problem of the exercising, then the example is right here. So why can I exercise more often? And I said, well, because I like variety of exercises. I can't just do one thing. Well, and why can I do the variety of exercises? Because I don't have enough space in my room. I exercise in my room and I don't have enough space to do that. And why don't I have enough space? Well, because I like to use the treadmill. I like to use the weights. I like to use my CD, my videos, different things every day. And why do I have to use the treadmill? Why don't I use it? Because it takes too long to set up, right? It takes just too much. I don't want to like open the treadmill and do the CDs and do all of that. So that's why I'm not doing it. And so why is taking too long to set up? Because I need more space. I need a larger space in order for me to exercise. So now I got to something, right? So now, so I need more space. So, and I know that I don't like to exercise. I don't like to go to the gyms. I'd rather do it at home. So I need to figure that out. Now that I got to the bottom of it now, right? So I know that I like to do a variety of exercises. I need more space, and I don't want to set it up. I just want to like get up and then, put my gym, clothes on and then just get going. So now I have to figure out, like, identify the potential improvements that I want to do. So right now, this is what this is the at the core of the quality improvement. So you all know about the iceberg, right? When you are in the surface, if you are in a ship or if you are in a cruise, right, you only see the tip of the iceberg and you don't know how deep is the bottom. So in quality improvement, we try to do the 5 whys up until we get to the really root cause of it. So then we can attack that. So we can address that root cause. That is very key in quality improvement. And you do have a template for the 5 whys. So at this point, I would like to ask you to download the template for the 5 whys, and then you're going to use it. So what you're going to do is that when it says question, you are going to put the question here. So why don't I exercise more weekly? Or why can I prepare lunches every day of the week? And, you know, and then you're going to type the reason, and then you say, why can I do this? And then you keep going. If at some point, you know, you come up with like 2 separate reasons, like one sort of tree of the answers is, you know, because I don't have the money for it, and the other one is because I need more space in the refrigerator or something. Now you can just bring it, you know, you can open it, you branch off to the next column, and then you continue the why from that end, and you continue the why on this, you know, on the money, and the other one on the space, until you get to the bottom of it, and then you get what is the actual reason for that. Okay, and that will be what we're going to use in the next step. So we're going to pause here so that you can do, you can download the template, and then you can start doing your 5 whys, practicing in the tool, so then you are ready for it. Okay.